NaNoWriMo or Camp NaNoWriMo, which is right for you? Let's break it down. What's the difference between Camp NaNoWriMo and NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, which takes place in November? What's the difference other than the time of year? Camp Nano is always in April and July of the year, whereas NaNoWriMo is always November. It's National Novel Writing Month. Camp Nano in July and in April are not as recognized. There's not as much publicity around them. People aren't as aware of them, and there's a much smaller community that participates. Whereas NaNoWriMo has been around the longest, and most people are aware of it. And there's also a big lead up to the month of November in Preptober, where we prepare for NaNoWriMo in order to hit their goals in November. But the biggest difference between NaNoWriMo in November and Camp NaNoWriMo in April and July is the set goal. Now, yes, there are rebels that do something different in November. The core line of people that participate in NaNoWriMo in November will be aiming to hit 50,000 words during that month. However, in April and July during Camp Nanos, we can set our own goals. We can choose to do whatever we want. We might be editing, we might be continuing the book we started in November, we might be doing a completely new project. Whatever we are working on, we can participate in Camp Nano, and it is designed with groups where you can join a group that is writing or working on a specific kind of project, and some of these groups are very specific. Find these in the NaNoWriMo forums. So you can see Camp Nano is coming up. The challenge will take place in April. There's a pinned forum which says it's coming in April, but you've got very specific groups that are forming. So anyone over 21 can join this group. Speculative fiction, fantasy writing group for millennials, Christian teens looking for individuals to help. Nerd alert, April 2023 cabin, six spots left. Writing buddies for contemporary non-speculative fiction. There's all sorts of different ones, and it goes on and on and on. So you can go by age, you can go by type of writing you're doing, you can go by the way you're doing your challenge. Once you have that challenge in mind, there's a community here that you can join and reach out to. How do you decide which one's right for you? Well, the first thing I think you should do when deciding whether or not it's right for you is, if you need a little bit of community and a kick in the bum and it happens to be March, then April as Camp Nano is probably the best one for you. Don't wait for November. And number two, I would say you really need to think about your motivation for these things. Internal and external motivation is the key to understanding why we succeed or fail at goals like NaNoWriMo. When I say external motivation, I am talking about the your left, my right, left side of the chart. So this is a chart that was presented by Dr. K from Healthy Gamer, and I really, really highly recommend his channel if you are struggling with mental health. If you've got a want or a should, that is external. You would say that 50,000 words during the month of November is an external goal. It's an external motivator. What about if I set my own goals for Camp Nano? Is that therefore an internal, because I've set them myself? No, it isn't. Not necessarily. Because if you are setting a goal because you want to finish your edits by the end of April, or you feel like you should finish your edits by the end of April, that is external. That is an external motivation, even though you've put it on yourself. An internal motivation would be connected to a value or a duty. If you value finishing something, if you feel like finishing something that you have been working on for a while is a value system, or if you feel like as a writer you have a duty to finish your work and get it out there to your beta readers, if you feel it is your duty to get these things out to meet a deadline, whether it's self-imposed or not, those are internal. What's great about Camp Nano is it leads you more to setting internal goals rather than an arbitrary external goal set by NaNoWriMo. It's only successful if you can shift your thinking from wants and shoulds to value and duty. How you can know if you value something rather than want or should is if you saw somebody not doing that, actively turning away from your value system. Does it feel like they've taken a carrot grater and just peeled your arm clear? If it feels like that, then it's probably a value system. If it doesn't feel like that, it's probably more an external. It's more of a want. What's great about Camp Nano is you can align your goals. Instead of should write 50,000 words in the month of November, you can align your goals with your value system. You can align them here. And it's a smaller community, but I feel like this is why it is a more serious community, because a lot of people have intuitively aligned their goals with their values and their duties as opposed to their shoulds and their wants. Some of that makes sense. Leave a note in the comments if you have any questions about that. The third way to know whether or not Camp Nano is the place you want to be. Maybe you've done this. Maybe you've done your values and your duties and you've got a really long list, as I do. I have a huge long to-do list. And that is giving me a bit of analysis paralysis. I actually don't know what I'm going to do in April. And I gave myself the goal, telling you what I'm going to be doing in April for this video, and I have not succeeded in that goal. What I have succeeded in is knowing what I need to do between now and April 1st. What's great about NaNoWriMo is the month of Preptober, but there's nothing to say that March cannot be another Preptober. Maybe it is a Prep-Arch. How about that? Prep-Arch? We can turn it into a preparation month. So this month, what I'm doing is I am going to try and achieve the goal. I tagged a goal to my NaNoWriMo novel, which I have not finished. And by the end of March, I want to have it organized, fleshed out, and draft 1 complete and ready to send to an editor. And that is my goal for the end of March. If I hit that goal, which I hope I will, because it ties with all my value system of that I need to complete this novel. If I hit that goal, then I will be able to clear the cobwebs and know what I want to do in April. What Dr. K talks about is that when you're sitting and you're doing something, say you're recreating, you're reading, you're watching TV, you're having time, you remember, oh shoot, we need to pick up milk, or shoot, there's a submission deadline coming up and I need to get my story ready for that. Your subconscious is like keeping track of your to-do list. If your to-do list is too long, if you've got several projects on the go, you can't actually move forward because those past projects, your brain, your subconscious can't help you, can't come to the party and help you on this project because it's still trying to keep track of all the other projects you got going. If you are in that place like I am, that's where I am right now. I can't think about what I'm going to do in April because I've got this project I need to finish. I'm going to pay my karmic debt, as Dr. K says, and I'm going to finish this project. If I don't, that will give me my goal for April. My goal will be to finish the project. What's great about Camp Nano is, unlike NaNoWriMo, you can actually change your goals as you go through the month. And when you win, they reward you, which is external, I understand, but who doesn't love a little bit of a pat on the back for doing a good job? It's a wonderful artificial deadline I've set for myself for finishing this project. If I finish it, then I will have a clear mind and I will be able to know what I'm going to do in April. One way I'm paying my karmic debt is when I have a shiny new idea. I am trying to organize it in such a way to get it out of me so I can go back to my story. And I've done this recently. Inspired by Emma Bennett, I have started a new way of paying my karmic debt with my ideas, putting them somewhere so that I can move on with my Cinderella story. I will shoot that video up here for you to see. In the meantime, check out this video here, how I am untangling my Cinderella story, which was my NaNoWriMo project, how I'm fixing it, and how I'm getting over my analysis paralysis. I'll see you there.